Hey, keep it going for David, everybody. Yeah. Good to be here. I'm down from Baltimore, too. Good to be here. I was like, that's a great accent. He sounds beautiful. Yeah, how do we feel about Baltimore? All right. Fuck you, too. You know what, DC? Some guy in the back goes, eh. It's Gladiator or something. I know we don't have the best reputation, right? But I like Baltimore. I like the people there. They keep the city interesting, right? Like the other day, I was doing a gig in Pennsylvania, and on my way out of Baltimore, I stopped at a gas station bathroom. Had to be a smart traveler, right? I had to pull the Prius over for a second, you know what I mean? It's a 2016. I'm doing fine, you know? And has a backup camera. I'm flirting. I gotta stop. Anyway, I stop at this gas station, right? I open the door, and I'm immediately greeted by 4 dudes parsing out weed on a baby changing station. Right? I was like, oh, fellas, I am so sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt. I just have to pee, right? And their leader, he turns around, he goes, well, it's a public bathroom. Go pee. Right? And I size this dude up. He's about 12, 13 years old. And I did as he said, went pee, bought some weed, and got the hell out of there. You know what I mean? And on my way out, he's like, you have a blessed day, young man. I was like, thank you. Service and a smile. Thank you. Thank you. We got any weed smokers out there? Okay. Just 5 people and the rest of you all have security clearance? Is that what's going on? Is that... Okay, DC. Okay, DC. You're like, weed, I don't know. That sounds like drugs. I don't... No, sir. My drug of choice is work. That's what I... Oh, I love that stuff. Let me, oof. You ever do a PowerPoint, brother? Just put it in my veins. Oh, a nice slide deck. Oh. So funny. I like it down here. I like doing shows down here because weed is decriminalized, right? Which means you're allowed to have it, but you can't buy it. You just have to come across it somehow, like, oh my God. Where did this come from? Okay. He works in mysterious ways. Thank you. My God. I am having a blessed day. Wow. Like, you have those shops down here that don't sell weed, right? You have to be like, yes, I'd like to buy this plastic red Solo cup for $100. And there's weed in it? Get out of here. Are you serious? Wow. I just thought I was getting a nice cup. I didn't know. But it's the same thing on the street here to like get around the rules, right? Like I was walking to a show the other day, and I just heard this voice off to my left. This guy just goes, yo, my man, hey, you want to buy a book? And I was like, what? What a weird thing to yell at a stranger. Also, this is going to be a tough sale because I don't read at all, right? And I look over, and it's a dude just holding a book with a sack of weed taped to the front of it. I bought that book. I bought that little summer reading, you know? Never hurt anybody. We got any motorcycle people out there? Okay. Such a DC woo. It's like, I like to take it out on the weekends if the wife allows it. I have a hog. I'm just asking because, like I said, I'm travel around a lot, so I'm on the road, and I saw 2 motorcycles pass each other the other day, and they went like this to each other, right? You guys ever see that, right? And I asked my friend that has a motorcycle, I was like, what does that mean when you guys do that? He was like, oh, that's just to be like, we're both on motorcycles. I was like, that's the dumbest shit I've ever heard in my life. Like, I don't see another guy in a Prius, and I'm like, hey! Do you get good gas mileage too? Fuck yeah, brother. It's a Prius thing, you know what I mean? I got married to a woman last year, and thank you. You're like, we don't believe it. Do we have any married people out there? Jesus. Any happy married people? Are we? Okay. It was like, don't you clap, Robert. Shut up. Eat your fucking nachos, all right? No, I like it. But yeah, did you guys know that weddings are expensive? Did you see this? You heard about this? I knew they were, but I had no idea, like, the extent, right? Like, you go to look at a venue, and you're like, hey, this is nice. It's walls and a ceiling, right? How much could this be? And they're like, $10,000. And you're like, what? Does it come with chairs? And they're like, shut the fuck up. And they spit on you, right? So we pared the whole thing down. We got married at the courthouse, pretty affordable, right? Got married at the courthouse. And then there's a lot of other trappings with weddings that we avoided too. They're pretty expensive. Like, you gotta have a photographer, right? What is that? Just, you pay some idiot $2,000 to take pictures, right? So you know who we got to do it? Our friend Brad. He has an iPhone 15. You understand? Talking 4K video on that thing. DJ, same thing, you know? You're just some idiot playing music, $2,000, no way. You know who our DJ was? Our friend Brad. He has Spotify with no commercials, all right? Pretty good playlists on there. Bachelor party too, right? That's needlessly expensive, you know? And what is that? It's just going to the strip club? Like, we got some strip club guys out there? Just everyone on a date, he's like, I don't think so, nope, not me, no. I think strip clubs are pretty gay. I do. Especially in the context of a bachelor party, because what is that? It's just you and your boys in the same room, hard together? It's like, hey, Carl, are you hard right now? Fuck yeah, brother, me too. See you at the Best Western later. You gonna jerk off to this, Carl? Okay. You don't know if that's his dick or not. You don't know? Okay. But me and my wife, we're trying. You guys, that's right, we're trying. Thank you. You get some awes on that. Isn't that nice? Yeah, right? Yeah, you can tell strangers that. You'd be like, hey, this is me and my wife, we're trying. You'd be like, oh my God, that's beautiful, right? Like, you can say that at work, you know? Be like, hey, Carol, how was your weekend? Oh, yeah, good, yeah. Well, I'm a little tired. Me and my wife, we've been trying. Yeah. I'm a little tired, yeah. And she'd be like, that's amazing, good for you, you know. Right? But if I actually said what we were doing, it's like, hey, Carol, how was your weekend? Me? Whew, quite the weekend, because I've been fucking blasting, just unloading in her, you know what I mean? Just over and over again. It's to the point where it's like a job. I mean, it's a fun job, but you're just like, God damn, how much cum fits in this thing? You know what I mean? And you're just doing it and What's that? You want me to go to HR? Yeah, I'll go to HR. That was too much. You're right. My wife wants to do an at-home birth, though, if we get pregnant, right? Yeah, you know, I want to make her happy, but it sounds like a bit of a mess. You know what I mean? So I'm thinking, you know, I want to make her happy, so I'm thinking we do it, but we do it at somebody else's house. You know what I mean? I think we get an Airbnb, right? No rules against that, huh? Right? You'd be like, no, the listing said sleeps 2 to 3. That's what it said. Just filling out the guest book of like, beautiful stay. That stain was on the couch before we got here. And there's some placenta in the fridge if you want. 5 stars. Oh, yeah, that office talk, that shit kills me. We got I always think it's so funny at the office when there's like multiple pregnancies and people go, there must be something in the water, right? And I'm like, Carol, are you talking about cum? Is that what you're talking about? Do you think there's cum in the water? That's also not how it works, all right? I work in a cubicle setting. Anybody else slowly dying 40 hours a week under fluorescent lights? Fuck yeah, all right. DC, you guys are more fired up about your cubicles than your relationships. I was like, who's married? You're like, shut up. And then, like, who's got 3 walls that don't go to the ceiling? You're like, what's up? Yeah, fuck yeah. But I got 2 monitors, bitch. Yeah. Outlook on one side, Excel on the other. Wear jeans on Friday, we're different, you know. My options were limited, right, for a job, because I was a history major, you know, right? Yeah, not a lot you can do with that, but I liked it, you know. But like I said, not a lot you can do. You can teach, you can go back to school and get your doctorate, but, you know, it's not a cool doctor. You know, like I'll never be on a plane and somebody's like, is there a doctor on board? I'm like, yes. Does somebody have a question about the Civil War? Is it an emergency, right? So I had to get the cubicle job. And regardless of where we all work with weirdos, right? Okay, if you can't relate to that, you're the weirdo. I hate to break it to you. People are emailing about you, for sure. Like, I work with this one guy, right? Like, the other day I was gonna grab breakfast and I went in the break room and a coworker was in there. And I was gonna make small talk with him. I saw he had a bowl in the microwave and I was like, hey, Isaac, what do you got there? He goes, hot dogs. I was like, what the fuck? 7:30 in the morning. And you have a bowl full of hot dogs in the microwave. And he high-roaded me. He goes, hey, bro, I'm gluten-free. And I'm like, what the fuck? I didn't realize the bun was the shittiest part of the hot dog, but okay. All right, enjoy your breakfast of champions. But there are some people there that I like. You know, you get some fun stories, right? Like, this is my favorite cubicle story, all right? This happened when I had adult braces. Thank you. That's right. I had a Prius and adult braces at the same time. Still locked the woman down. You know what I'm saying? Had adult braces, all right? And that's when the story takes place. We had a baby shower at work. That's right. Our team leader, Jess, was having a baby, right? Something must be in the water, right? And we had to have a baby shower, okay? And it was like first thing in the morning, like 9 a.m. We're all in the triple conference room, right? Just exhausted, but you know, people are drinking coffee, eating gluten-free cake. Isaac's loving it, right? You know, and Jess is fired up, all right? Like every gift she presents, it's like Simba being presented in The Lion King. She's like, behold, a breast pump, right? And they're like, oh, cool, that looks like a good one, you know? And I'm sitting next to a coworker I like a lot. She's an older black woman. Her name's Curleen. We don't talk about much, but we're friendly. We usually talk about the weather, right? So I'm like, oh yeah, it's gonna be a little warm this weekend. I hope you have a good one, right? Meanwhile, Jess is still presenting all her gifts, okay? And the next gift she presents is something called butt paste, all right? Which is just a cream for diaper rash, but since it has a silly name, that's crushing in the office, right? Like, oh my God, who got that? Who is that you, Stephanie? You're a pistol. Okay, that is too much. No more Fig Newtons for you. All right. So there's some light laughter in the triple conference room, right? And out of nowhere, Curleen leans into my face and she goes, I need some of that. For when I get my ass chewed out. Now, me and Curleen are not on ass chewing level talk. You understand? We talk about the weather. That's our relationship. So things have changed and changed quickly, but at the same time, it's like a car crash. Like time just slowed down. Like she was like, my ass chewed out. And I'm like, whoa, what does that mean? Is she saying her husband eats her butt? Does she want me to eat her butt? All right? And it took me a second, but I slowly figured out she meant like chew your ass out, like when somebody yells at you, right? Took me a second, because, you know, I get weed from gas station bathrooms, but I got there, you know, and I also figured out she's being pretty coy, right? In front of all our coworkers. She's trying to put me in a tight spot, you know? So I was like, well, I'm gonna put her in a tight spot. I'm gonna volley it right back, you know? It's a nice little Tuesday. I got a little hazelnut creamer in the coffee, right? A nice little crease in the khaki. Might fuck around and do an Excel file later. I don't know. I don't know what the day holds, you know? So I just look at her and I go, yeah, girl, you better get some of that paste. You better get a whole drum of it, because I'm going to chew your ass out after this. You guys are feeling bad for Carleen, aren't you? Well, don't. She didn't miss a beat. She volleys it right back. She goes, not with them braces, you know. We've been married 8 months, and she's the love of my life. Love of my life. I'm gonna tell you guys one more story, and then we'll get your headliner, Steve Byrne, up here. Can you guys make some noise for Steve right now, please? Yes. Yes. All right, so this happened to me recently. It's a weird medical story. All right, it starts on a Wednesday morning. I'm in my cubicle. All right, I have an itch behind my left ear. I go to scratch it, and I feel a lump there. All right, and I never felt that before. So I do the worst thing you can do when you have something on your body that you're unsure of. I went to WebMD. Which they should just call youhavecancer.com, right? Like, any symptom you type in there, you're like, I'm sleepy. They're like, you have cancer, right? So I'm terrified. I call my doctor's office. I go, hey, I know this is a long shot, but can I see my doctor today? I have a lump behind my ear. And they're like, oh, your doctor's not in, but you can see a substitute doctor. And I'm like, all right, I'll see a sub. You know, she's probably qualified. She's not like a substitute teacher in high school, right? Like, she's not just gonna come in and put on a DVD about cancer and be like, you got it, right? You know? So I go and see this sub. I'm in there. She comes in, looks at my lump, and I swear to God, she just goes, whew, with these things, could be anything. I was like, what? WebMD at least said cancer. Like, you went to school for 1,000,000 years, right? She was like, well, look, I don't know what it is, but we're going to schedule a CAT scan for next week, and we'll figure it out. I'm like, all right, okay. So I go home, try not to freak out, but I'm stressed, all right? And I start to get this rash on my forehead. I'm like, fuck. So the next morning, Thursday morning, I call my doctor's office. I go, hey, I know I was just in yesterday, but can I see my doctor today? I have this rash on my forehead. They're like, yeah, your doctor's in. If you can see her at 10 a.m., she has an opening. I'm like, yeah, I'll be there, right? So I'm all excited to see my regular doctor. She'll know the score. She'll take care of me, right? Cut to the doctor's office. I'm sitting in there. She comes in, doesn't say a word, not, hey, how are you? Sorry I wasn't here yesterday when you had cancer. None of that. She just comes in, looks at my forehead, and she goes, yeah. I don't think it's herpes. I was like, what? I didn't even know that was an option. That's nuts. And I was like, well, what do you think it is? She goes, whew, could be anything. And I was like, God damn it. Kaiser Permanente, get it together. What are we doing? So she goes, well, look, I don't know what it is, but the dermatologist will know. So what we're going to do is we're going to take pictures, send it to them, and they'll get you a cream for your not-forehead herpes, right? But it's a weird plan, but I'm on board. But to make matters worse is she's taking the pictures with her iPhone. So I think she's just texting her doctor buddies like, do you know what the fuck this is? Ew, dude, right? Fucking gross. So I go home, dermatologist's office, they call me, they go, hey, we looked at your pictures. We have no idea what this is. I'm like, yeah, again, why would you? You're just doctors, right? And they go, well, look, you can see a dermatologist tomorrow on Friday. I see you're in Baltimore. The closest one to you is in Silver Spring. Would you mind driving to Silver Spring? I go, yeah, I have cancer herpes. I'll drive wherever, right? So cut to Friday morning, kind of a repeat of the day before. I'm in this doctor's office. She comes in, dermatologist. She looks at my forehead. She goes, okay, all right. Is the rash just on the left side? And I was like, yeah. And she's like, and the lump, is that on the left? And I was like, yeah. She goes, oh, I think it's shingles. And I was like, what? Isn't that normally like in older people? She's like, well, shingles is just chicken pox. And I was like, oh, I didn't know that. She goes, yeah. When you get chicken pox, it stays in your spine your entire life. And older people, as their immune system breaks down over time, it pops out again. However, when younger people get it, it's typically because their immune system has been devastated by something like HIV or AIDS. Have you had a blood test? Holy fuck! So DC, this is my week. Wednesday, cancer, I'm dead. Thursday, forehead herpes. I wish I was dead. Friday, AIDS. Carleen is dead, right? Because the braces are off. You know what I'm saying? They're off. I'm eating. I'm eating, dude. Chomping. So I'm freaked out, right? And I was like, no, I haven't had a blood test recently. And she goes, okay, well, are you sexually active? I played it cool. I was like, duh, bitch. No, it didn't happen. I was terrified. She's like, all right, well, we're going to give you a blood test today, and then we'll get the results on Monday. So I had all weekend to think about my mortality, freaked out the entire time. Cut to Monday morning. I'm in my cubicle where this whole thing started, right? I get a call from Kaiser Permanente. My hand's shaking as I answer. I'm like, hello? And I hear this positive Jamaican woman on the other end of the phone, and she goes, Josh Caderna, right? And I didn't say anything because I've never heard my name like that before. And she repeated it with purpose. She goes, Josh Caderna. And I was like, yeah? She goes, doctor wanted me to tell you all clear. No eggs! And then she went, bah, 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 bah. Turns out it was just herpes. I've been Josh Caderna, you guys. You've been so much fun. Give it up for your host, David. Thank you.